still in shock and awe of what happened in the last conversation. And you were again pointing to what it is all about, and somehow it struck me that because there's no like endpoint for enlightenment, so it's also impossible then to view your position right now, because if there is no reference point in relation to enlightenment, you cannot know where you stand right now.
Yes.
Because you don't know how many steps is left, because there's no reference point.
Yes.
And it's a bit funny.
Mm.
So
nowhere to stand at all.
no, it's just like, well, yeah. I already said it seems like a bit boring, and what's there to do anymore?
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
I'm still shaking and it's, but I've kind of question about this recognition, because by this recognition you can see what if there is a me or not. But how does this recognition even relate to this not knowing? Because if you really go back to the not knowing, what is even being left of this recognition?
Well, what does it mean to really go back to this not knowing?
Not to put a label onto anything, like not being anything put in thought or something.
Yeah, and that's the recognition. It's the same thing.
Okay, it felt more like the recognition is really see that you are not in the body or something, that there is a nothing.
Yes, because you were waiting for some kind of more significant recognition. Yeah,
well, because it seems to me like what enlightenment is a way about, that it was a losing of the sense of me and really feeling and sensing and experiencing that the me is not in the body, but that you are that which is looking.
Yes.
So that seems to be the recognition, really to see that when there is movement, that it is not a me that is moving, that is just moving,
okay.
happening is going on.
Yes. So let's check right now whether that's the case. So if you move your arm, who's doing that?
I don't know.
Ah, there you go. You're enlightened.
Well, it seems like that enlightenment is more like, well, there's like a sense of knowing that it is not me moving.
What was that then? You said.
Well, it's.
You don't know who's moving it. Well, isn't that the same thing?
Yeah, it seems like there's some difference. But, enlightenment is about a sort of knowing that it is not a me.
Well, check again. Let's see if you know.
I don't know.
Right, but you're expecting to know something.
Yeah, because it
hang
seems
on.
now. Yeah.
You're expecting to know something, but in fact you find you don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is kind of contrary to how you think it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this, haven't you realised more and more that this whole message is not about how you think it should be? Yeah. So this is another example of that.
Yeah, that's because why am I asking this? Because I see this. How can this ever be?
So like, you think that it should be that you come to a certain knowing.
Yeah, clarity. Or
hang on. Yeah. Where there can be a final conclusion.
Yeah, in a way.
But it's only thought that would ever need a final conclusion. Life itself, the nature of it, the way it all works, seems to be that there isn't any conclusion in any way at all, ever.
No.
So when you move your arm and you find that actually, right now as I move my arm, I don't find who is moving it. I don't know if there's anyone moving it. I just know that there's this arm that moves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's
So,
it.
so then if I don't find that there's anyone moving it, then there's no one moving it. Who else is going to tell me? If it's not that I don't find anyone, well then there isn't anyone, because there's no one else that knows better than I do.
But that seems to be a kind of conclusion or something, to say, well, there's no one moving his arm. That seems to be another label in thought or something. That's why
it can be interpreted like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, in fact, a trusting that because you don't know, that's the way it is.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely, yeah. And because there was this kind of thinking that, well, when you are in a way enlightened, that it gives a tremendous freedom because every experience is not being judged. So there's not a preference for one experience above the other.
Yeah. So that's been misunderstood.
Yeah, but that seems to be a kind of knowing about the experience. But if there is just not knowing, you don't know what experience is going on. So you have no way of knowing what the experience is. So there can't be even a comparison between the experiences.
Yes, but it doesn't mean that the thinking stops.
No.
See, that's the thing. The thinking can go on. It can go on interpreting and labeling and separating and doing its job completely.
Yeah.
You know? It's just that it's not given top priority anymore.
No. Because
that's the only difference.
Yeah. Because you can't, in a way, really give meaning to it or something, because you really don't know what thought is about. There can be judgments, there can be something like a evaluation of what is happening, but in a way you really don't know if that is really true, if this is really the case.
Yes.
So because that seems to be, if that is the case, you don't have any tool to compare the one experience with another.
Yes, that's why it's such a paradox that right now there's just this. There's no timeline of my life. There's no story. There's just sounds, sensations, image. Right now, and paradoxically, thought can come in and tell a story about how things have changed for me and my life and all of this. And this paradox goes on. Yeah.
It will go on, I guess, because it occurred to me that because you should sometimes do with people, like if there is a sense of me, and just look if there is a sense of me, it maybe just be to help to not to focus too much on the I thought, so there's a kind of room to see that there is really not knowing or something. It's not about losing the sense of me, but more like, well, is it really something that you can say is true? And so there, if you really see that it's not really true, there, in a way, there arises a space.
What you're doing now is trying to fit what you kind of recognized into your concepts about enlightenment and the way teachers teach and stuff. Maybe just throw it all out. It's much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, come back to the fact that you felt that shakiness.
Yeah.
You know, that's the point, really.
Yeah.
Where the whole of life is shaking and everything you believed in is shaking.
Yeah. Well, all the time. Yeah. It also occurs to me that it's more like just be animal-like or something, not like be an enlightened person who stands above everything.
Yeah.
It feels more like animal-like, like. Well, also an animal has no idea what is going on. It just lives, but we have a thinking, but it is just a tool. We have an extra tool in relationship to animals, but for the rest it is the same. It is not like we know about really something and the animals really are ignorant or something. We also are ignorant, but we think we are something. We know something.
Yeah, actually there's no difference really.
No,